Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So, Audie is on my desk, just a couple of feet away from me. I imagine he will photobomb the video. He's looking around, so yeah, I can read that little cat mind. Yellow for Catherine, for Lex's mom, for everybody dealing with cancer. We are sending good vibes out to all of you, and I will pick up on this as we get into the video. Now, this is not going to stay on because this is a very warm, this would be so nice if it were like 30 degrees out, but for now, no, not the best choice for this weather. I wanted to talk, first of all, and I'm going to do it before the intro, while I still have your attention, before I've talked you all into a coma. One of our angels has had a medical situation come up. I don't want to get into too many details because I don't have her permission to share her personal medical details, but she was hospitalized recently, and that is Steph. And Steph is one of the 4 suemesangels who handles the Facebook group that basically was formed by members of this community a number of years ago. And it's a wonderful place. If you haven't checked it out, check it out now. So I was starting to work on the giveaways, and I'll talk more about that later. My first thought was, well, first of all, they're a man down, so it's probably not a good idea to start the giveaways now, but I do want to. And I want to start with one of Steph's pieces. She does a lot of work with watch faces, which is really interesting. Also, of course, she does beadwork and all sorts of things. But the reason I want to start with one of Steph's pieces is I want to see this piece go into the hands of one of our viewers, because that will be one more person wishing good things for Steph and spreading those wishes out into the cosmos. So yes, get in touch over at suemesangels, and I will put an email address into the video notes for those of you who are not on Facebook. This will be the first piece going out. And okay, I'm going to save the rest of it until after the intro because Audie's getting fussy now. Be right back. So this means that the giveaways are officially underway. And I have fun with the giveaways. I'm not very good at it, which is why I need our darling angels over on Facebook to help me sort this all out. They turn it into games. They have fun with it. They do little contests and all kinds of things. It's not just straight up, send me your name and address and, we'll give you stuff. They liven it up a bit. Now, this time out, because of the nature of the giveaway items, we are going to be able to ship them worldwide. The reason for this is because everything that is going out has been in my possession for a while. And even that scarf I was just wearing, but because I actually had it on my body for 3 minutes, I can legally call it used clothing. And that means when it gets shipped overseas, it gets shipped overseas as used clothing. And even if customs is distraught about the idea of sending a package into their country without paying taxes on it, it's going to be used clothing. So whatever the tax burden is going to be very, very small. I have to say, though, we can't anticipate this. I have no idea what the tax rate is for incoming items. I do believe that in most cases, it's just going to pass through customs without any difficulty. I would not be doing this if I thought it was going to present any problems for the recipient. As always, if you are overseas, you are the winner of a giveaway, and that is just not the way you want to handle it. We do gift certificates too. So the whole point of this is to give you something that is not going to be a hardship or a nightmare for you to receive. So we're just going to play it by ear and try it this way, see if it works. Ordinarily, my experience with customs is if you put the word used in front of anything, they just say, oh yeah, we got somebody's old socks here. No value, no taxes. So that's what I'm hoping for. All right. Audie, excuse me a second. Yes, a bad cat is tromping around on my desk now, and I just had to cap here. I had to cap my drink. Oh, and if you'll recall, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. One of our viewers called me out on the soda, so it's flavored water now. I should have done that a long time ago, and I'm actually very grateful to the viewer who said, Sue, soda, bad, because yeah, it was a very polite kick in the butt, and I needed a kick in the butt. Okay, Audie he's still wandering around, but at least he's not going to be spilling soda or flavored water, which is sort of reddish purple, all over me, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. The giveaways, the scarves. One of the things I have done is I have pulled out most of the Yellow for Catherine scarves that I've been wearing for the last few months, and I want those to be giveaway pieces. I've thrown some other scarves in there too, just to liven things up. But the reason for this, and I actually gave this a great deal of thought because unfortunately I give everything a great deal of thought. One of the screws loose I have. I would like those of you out in the community to have some of this for yourself in your home, wearing it and helping to spread the joy, because that's what this is all about. Obviously, we want to spread some awareness, but we want to spread positive vibes. I believe that will help. I truly do. I think the more good thoughts that go out into the universe, the better things are for all of us. And frankly, can't hurt. But I also think that if we're thinking good thoughts, we express that in our daily lives. If we are positive, we exude positivity. That makes our interactions with others more positive. Yes, okay, baby. Sorry. Speaking of positivity, all right, come on. It's okay. Yeah, all right. Come here. Do you want to get up on my shoulder? Here, try this one for a change. He doesn't like this shoulder. He likes the other one. I don't know how long he'll stay. All right. See, he gets fidgety when he's on my left shoulder. What he really wants is the right one. Anyway, spreading the positivity makes our interactions with others more positive. And that can't help but have a ripple effect. So that is very much a large part of the giveaway, at least initially. Yes, okay, no, I'm not ignoring you. I love you. You're getting the cuddle too. I'm just talking to somebody else. I know. So unfair of me. Scarves. The giveaway is going to go on until it's not going on anymore. I have anticipation and apprehension. I have anticipation that this could end up going on into spring, because obviously things have to be prepared, shipped out. The angels have to gather names, addresses. Okay, well, honey, you're stuck. Well, that was lovely. The angels have to gather names, addresses, so it's no small task for them either. And of course, there are 3 of them able to do the work on this now, and not 4 until Steph is back with us in good health and good spirits, which we all hope will be very, very soon. But it's to make up for the fact that we haven't had giveaways in a while, because we've been beset by scammers. And as I've said before, it's not just this channel. The scammers are all over the place. And even scam baiters, people who make videos specifically about drawing these scammers out into long, pointless interactions that they then use as fodder for videos, but it also keeps the scammers from scamming somebody else while they're interacting with the scam baiter. Even they have been beset by scammers. And by that, I don't mean scammers they can bait. And, their YouTube channels get scam comments in them. So we're not alone in this. And just as a public service announcement, never give anybody money online, period. If you do not personally know them, don't give them money. Even if you do personally know them, make a phone call and verify that they are really the ones asking you for money, because scammers can spoof phone numbers. So you could get a text thinking it's from mom saying, my car just broke down, can you wire me $200? And that money can go off to Lagos or Calcutta or wherever it is the scammers are from. So be smart, verify everything. And I have to say, personally, that I don't transact business in that way. I don't simply send people money. I think it's a bad practice. So my best advice is just don't do it at all. But if you find yourself in a situation where, like I say, it is your mom, call, talk to her, not just text, talk to your mother and make sure she's really the one who wants or needs the money. I recently got a scam phone call from someone who told me that my grandson had been arrested and was being held somewhere in the South. I don't recall. Texas, Georgia, I really do not recall. And needed bail money. And I just started playing with the guy. I said, well, what did Hector do to get himself arrested? And he goes on, is driving, drunk and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, that's amazing considering the fact that he's only 4. So I do not have a grandchild named Hector. He is not 4. He is not in jail in Texas. But the man ended up threatening my life. There was like literally a death threat in this. So, yeah, they can be pretty intimidating, especially if someone doesn't know they're a scammer and thinks they're getting death threats from the Georgia State Police. So just be aware, share it with your friends, in particular, anybody you think might be vulnerable. All right, enough about scammers. They've taken more than enough time. So I had some things that I was hoping to be able to show you today, but I'm not able. Yes, okay, come on. Yes, speak of the devil. I am not able to. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you was a beautiful little tartan bow tie collar that our friend Anne from Scotland, and you've seen her lovely castle photos that we've incorporated into slideshows. I'll show one of those at the end of this video. She sent him this gorgeous collar, had a bell on it, so I opened that and shook the little bell at him, and he was excited. But then I put it on the ironing board and went to bed. And sometime between the time that I went to bed and I got up in the morning, the collar disappeared because somebody, not mentioning any names, stole it. And we've been through this before. We went through this with the Coke can. every now and then he just gets it into his head that he's going to take something, it's going to be his, and he's going to play with it. And I got the Coke can back, so I'm very confident about the collar. But for the moment, it's somewhere in one of Audie's little hidey holes, and I guess he's not through playing with it yet. But that was adorable. I did want you to see it. And the other was, many of you may remember I spoke, and this had to be more than a year ago, about a leather jacket that is in my wish list. I wanted that jacket back. I had one 40 years ago. This was in the 1980s when this particular line of repro World War II bomber jackets came out, and I loved it. And I had had that for probably 10 years before it eventually made its way elsewhere. I don't recall what happened to it. I think it ended up with my brother, because he came up that winter for Christmas, and I think I just lent it to him. He came up from Florida. Sorry, that's the important point. Comes up to New England from Florida for Christmas without enough adequate winter clothing, and I think that's where the jacket went. I think I handed it off to my brother, and it's probably in a box somewhere in Orlando now. But one of our viewers had gotten in touch and said, I have that jacket. I haven't worn it in years. By the way, I know that's correct. And I'll get into that in a moment. She said, I'd love to send it to you. And I thought, good Lord, this jacket is very, very expensive. And the jacket in my wish list, which is identical to the one she just sent me, is currently going for $350, which is an extravagant gift. But what can I say? I look at this and think, well, if this is something that means something to her, it means a great deal to me to have the jacket, not just acquisitiveness, not just I want the jacket, but she's a pilot. So this is a pilot's bomber jacket. And my father, as many of you know, if you've paid attention to the videos, yes, all right, come on, I'll let you have this shoulder instead. You like this one. My father was a pilot. And part of the reason I got that bomber in the 80s was because it reminded me somewhat, not identical, but somewhat, of my father's jacket, the one he had in the war, and it was in the back of a closet. He didn't wear it often, but he usually did wear it when he went up in small planes in the winter, because small planes, the cockpits, well, I don't know what it's like these days, but in those days, they weren't well heated, and he needed that heavy jacket. So, I know it's way too late to make a long story short. So I'm going to avoid making a long story even longer. Yes, I have the jacket, but I cannot show it to you because the first thing I did, and this is the sort of, here's a little advice for you. First thing I did was brought it to my dry cleaner. The reason for that is not because I felt it needed cleaning. It was very clean. Furthermore, there were dry cleaning tags still stuck on the inside. So I know that I know it hadn't been worn since it was last dry cleaned, because you'd feel those tags if you stuck your arm in the sleeve. And so, like I say, I do believe her that she hasn't worn it in forever. But the reason I brought it to my dry cleaner is leather requires a certain amount of care, and something like a leather jacket is going to require a different kind of care from what I'm used to. I'm used to dealing with leather shoes, leather handbags, but a leather jacket is different. So I brought it to my dry cleaner to ask him to take a look at it and see if it was something that he'd be comfortable handling, you know, on an ongoing basis as it needs to be cleaned. But I had to leave it there because he wasn't in the shop when I showed up. I should have called first, but I didn't. So I just got the call back so I could go pick it up. And he says, yes, he's perfectly able to deal with that. So this is good. I was confident he would be, but that means the jacket is not in my possession to show it to you, but it is, in fact, basically the same jacket I had in the 1980s, the same jacket that was until 2 days ago in my wish list. So thank you Caroline. And of course, on behalf of Audie, thank you, Anne. He really does seem to love this collar, even though it's not around his neck at the moment. So those are things, like I said, I was hoping to share them with you. I will be able to share them with you in time, because the jacket is not going to stay at the dry cleaners for long, just until I go in and pick it up. And the collar is not going to be staying in Audie's little hidey hole for long, just until he decides he wants to play with that little jingle bell instead. So they will be out, and I will share them. And see, that brings me, this is the part I'm moving a lot of my scarves out for the giveaways. I am sharing plenty of scarves. In most cases, the scarves that I'm sharing were items I specifically bought for these videos, for my Yellow for Catherine. But while I was in there, I decided there are other scarves, and I like nice scarves. So yeah, it's like a lot of other scarves that could very nicely go to somebody else's home instead, because I have about 3 dozen scarves that are in various stages of prep for the giveaways, being washed, being pressed, etc., and eventually they will be packed up. And I still have 50 in there. So that's a lot. And see, that's what I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about my scarf hoarding. Still have 50 of them. And then, because I had a moment of weakness when I realized I was moving so many scarves out, I went off and bought 3 more. So, yeah, I'm starting to think maybe I have a problem. But I do love my scarves. I truly do. And the fact that I'm sharing them doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to get more scarves, because then I can share them too. So, yeah, this is how I'm justifying it. But yes, I am, in fact, starting to look at the fact that I might have a problem. I'm going to table that for a while because I don't want to think about it. But that was just in the interests of full transparency. Apparently, I had pretty close to 100 scarves when I started this. So, yes, and now I am going to spread my collection out to others, which makes me feel good about it. But am I still seduced by every pretty scarf I see? Yes, I am. Is this probably going to be an ongoing problem? Yeah, I think it is. Do you want to get back in my lap? See, I told you he would be photobombing like crazy, and he is. So, well, what do you want to do? So he's just standing on the edge of my desk, staring at me. All right, not anymore. All right, here we go. Okay, you can stay here for a while, and they can enjoy your twitching tail. Yeah, and we're going. Audie's been in a very strange sort of mood lately because we are moving from summer into fall, so the weather's changing, and he does not cope well with change. So, yeah, he's kind of acting out a little, and he's demanding a lot of attention. All right, where was I? I was talking about my scarf problem. Yes, I have a scarf problem. Also, again, while I am deep into confession here, I also bought a new handbag. And I remember, like, what was it, last weekend, the weekend before, just saying, I don't have to deal with my handbags. This is all done. But I went out, found a very nice olive suede tote bag, couldn't resist, brought it home with me. So, when I say I think I'm starting to have a little bit of a problem, yeah, I think maybe I'm going to have to put a moratorium on the shopping for a while. No more scarves, no more bags, no more of any of the things that I gravitate toward when, I don't know, when I'm bored. I'm trying to think of why I do this shopping. Maybe I'm doing it out of boredom. I do know if I get bored or like sometimes I'll be editing a video and I will just start to feel like I've been working on it too long. And instead of going over to YouTube and pulling up cat videos, which I should probably do, I think I'm going to have to work on that one. I'll just pull up a shopping site and look around. I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. And you know where that leads to, yeah, oh, it's going to go in my shopping cart. So I think I really need to be a lot more mindful of what I am doing and try to separate myself from that mindset of, well, if something goes out, something must come in. I got it backwards. The way that's supposed to work is if something comes in, something should go out. But nope, that's not how I'm doing it. I'm doing it in exactly the opposite way, which has a completely opposite effect to cleaning things out, trying to move things into new homes where other people will enjoy them. No. So I got to look at this. So what I would like from you, and you know, I'm giving you my problems. I'm looking to you to help me solve them. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with disciplining yourself? You know, it's like, you know, you have a problem. I know I have a problem. So, you know, you have a problem. You're shopping a little too much. What do you do to kind of curb this, to get yourself redirected into a more positive channel? So, because I kind of need it. All right. That is what I have for you today. It's been more of a ramble and just a catch up. But go over to the suemesangels Facebook page, right? And then check in with them for the giveaway. Remember, it's going to be a piece of Steph's jewelry, just so we can keep the good vibes going. And I will put an email address in the video notes. Oh, and by the way, the reason I'm not putting it on the screen is, remember those scammers? I don't want them to have an email address. So it's going in the video notes. Most of them are far too lazy to bother to look things up like that. All right, we are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. And as I promised, it's going to be Anne's Castles. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where hopefully I'm a little more organized, a little less chaotic, and not just dealing with, oh boy, I just ended up spending money on stuff I probably shouldn't have spent money on, and feeling a little less, you know, I don't know. Is it anxious? Is it guilty? It's probably guilty. Yeah. All right. We're going to leave it at that. So I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, have a terrific day.